Hey, it is Tiffany here from Mellow Vibes, and normal is boring. So you may be wondering, what do you do in a hypnotherapy session? What goes on in a session? So the session is, I'll talk about, well, I'll first go over the initial, right? So the initial consultation may or may not include hypnosis. Because in the beginning, I am, getting familiar with you, getting to know what exactly is the main issue that you see in your life right now. And then, you know, going over with you like what what have you done thus far about this particular issue you're having? Um, just basic questioning. And well, it's not basic actually. There's there's reasons to why I ask the questions that I ask, and it's kind of an induction, which is inducing somebody to a hypnotic state. I kind of get a sense of like how susceptible you would be to hypnosis, to falling into like a light trance. So you may not realize it, but in the questioning, that is what is happening. And so just some basic, again, not basic, with some questioning about like where you are in your life right now. What exactly is going on in this moment, like what brought you to this point, what exactly you're trying to get help with. And so that is the initial consultation. And depending on how much, uh, how much you're sharing, it will determine if we get to a hypnosis or not. So, again, it just depends. I know for um, some clients I have, gotten into, a simpler hypnotic trance at the end of all that. And for some, I couldn't get there because there was a lot of sharing. So, um, yeah, and either thing is fine. So it just depends on how open you are with me, how how in depth we get into like what your issue is. Will determine if we have time to get to that. Again, a session is my sessions are like 45-50 minutes. I am very generous, so a lot of the times I will go over if I don't have like somebody right after that session. um, so that's like an initial consultation, and then the um, the following sessions are uh, catered to what your issue is, what I was able to pick up from you in the first session, because I'm trying to see if um, I think I mentioned in the last, I believe I mentioned in the last video, how to deprogram a belief, that I'm listening for how you speak. So I'm listening to if you say, "Oh, I hear you on that," or whatever. Uh, that could give a clue that you're more like an auditory person, or "Oh, I really see where you're coming from." That might give me the indication that maybe you're a visual person. So that would determine the kind of like hypnotic induction I might do. There are a lot of different, hypnotic techniques. I I like to use them all, but it is dependent on you know what you need. Also, I could do the techniques and just switch around my language also um, to that, to how you perceive things, whether it's visual, whether it's sound, whether it's whatever. So um, there are various techniques that I do. I do have some favorites, but yeah, it depends on like where you are, how far we get in a session with like how it's really how far you get in a session on just what you're able to uncover, and um, what you're able to uncover and perceive about um, the situation that you're in, and what you're able to grab a hold of and grasp and learn. So whereas I have on my website that it could be like from 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 sessions. It should never be any more than that for hypnotherapy to get to the bottom of the one issue that we've talked about in the initial consultation, whatever that one issue is. We're just trying to get to the core of that, where it came from. Really like where it came from, and is that actually valid? How do we, if it's not valid, how do we, replace that belief? So it's like how far you get in each session determines like how many sessions we're going to have. Some people will really just need 3. And I've seen, like, when I was doing hypnotherapy training, when I was doing the hypnotherapy course, like, I've seen like my instructor like work with somebody who honestly was just like on another level. The amount of seeming like self-hatred that they had, it was horrendous. It was honestly like probably the worst I've ever seen. And I was just like, yo, this is kind of crazy. And but in 3 sessions, she was like, it was a whole new person. So 3 sessions. So that could be that could be it. So you can't even let the issue that they have, you can't really make an assumption about that. You can't like because I was like, dang, this person's gonna need a lot of work and 3 sessions, so after the initial consultation, I will try to like structure, from the conversation I had with you, structure like where I think this is probably going to go, what would be most helpful in the techniques. And so I might write a loose guideline, but it really is but it just depends, because you don't know where each session is going to take you. So I may have a loose guideline of, okay, this might be where we're going, but I don't know until I get in the session with you. So maybe like, okay, I'm probably going to go here next, and then we go somewhere else completely because you've like surpassed where I thought you were going to be. Like like that girl who like was done in 3 sessions. So it just depends on the person, and it's just like adaptability, and which is why I love hypnotherapy so much, and just seeing the transformation and seeing people reach a different level of perspective and peace is just like a great thing. So that's what happens in a hypnotherapy session, if you've wondered what it's like. And again, if I didn't mention this in my last video, you are not asleep, you're very awake, even though I said I might be inducing you into hypnotic trance and you don't realize. You're awake. You're very awake. It's just like a different part of your brain gets triggered, and it's a different brain wave. So, but you're super aware. I'll let you know that, like, you're aware. It's not like that thing where you're just like, and then you're just gone. You wake up, you don't know what happened. That's not a thing. Not that it's not a thing, but I believe only statistically 7% of people like can get to that level of deep hypnosis, and that's like those stage hypnotists and stuff like that. So it's very small percentage. I will say I know one of those 7% because I had a very interesting session with a friend of mine, actually, and yeah, she was out like this, and I was just like, where did you go? I had to pull her back into the room because she was like really far gone, and I was just like, this is not what we're trying to do here. So she's very like susceptible to like that deep hypnosis. But at the end of the day, we were actually able to achieve something, which was great. But yeah, if you're worried about that, like, it's a very low percentage of people that get to that point. That is not what's happening in sessions. Usually you are awake, it's a conversation. I'm just guiding you through questions that I have and through techniques that I have to accessing a different part of your brain. but you're very much awake when you're doing it. And the sessions can be, well, the session that I had with that particular friend, I said was in a very deep trance. That was in person, that was live. But my sessions I do over Skype, not Skype, I do over Zoom. It's like Skype. I do over Zoom. I don't even know the last time I used Skype, actually. It's probably in Italy or something. It's over Zoom, and it's a super easy thing to download. It takes like 2 minutes. You can sign in on with Facebook, and I give you your own meeting room for us. So for as long as we work together, you have your own meeting room. It's not like I've been in well, I think it was in my like business coaching program a couple of years ago, where it was, they just used the same meeting room for everything. So they're just like, oh, can you guys, all right, we have to wrap up because somebody's going to come in here soon. We have another session with people or whatever, another class. And it's like, why don't you just use a different meeting room, because you can have several. So you will have your own meeting room for as long as we work together. Nobody would be coming into your meeting room while we're in a session. So it's all on line. You could do it on your computer. You could do Zoom on your phone. And yeah, and if you are interested further in what goes on in a session, you can experience that for free in the Mellow Vibes Acting on Purpose Facebook group. We do group hypnotherapy every Wednesday. It is currently Wednesday as I'm shooting this video. It's not happening now because it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so canceled it for tonight. But Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. EST. It's like 35 minutes. You have to be there on time because the session, the techniques, I alternate between a few different ones. The techniques, the hypnosis itself will probably be like like a 10-minute hypnosis, and then afterward is just us discussing with everybody in the group like what you experienced and getting your feedback on what that was like for you. So again, for the group hypnotherapy, you're in with other people. Everybody will be on mute, so except for myself, you're just listening to me, and I will like be guiding you to different places in your mind, and then we'll talk about it afterward. So that is the group hypnotherapy session. That's like, again, like half hour. You have to be on time or you're gonna miss what's happening, and then there wouldn't really be a point. So the 7:30 p.m. EST, that goes on, and that's group hypnotherapy. So if you want a little taste of it, but the sessions that I do with people are always just one-on-one, and those are like 45, 50 minutes. So anyway, so that is what goes on a session, if you have ever wondered, and I will see you later in the next video. Peace and mellow vibes.